Libra, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, you have my love. If you are brand new to the channel, I am JT. If you're just cross-watching for your particular energy, make sure you come in and check out the new playlist. I've laid out some new videos, okay? Libra, do keep in mind, I always leave your haiku poems right before your reading. I am extra special because I love you. All right, we're going to talk about the categories as I shuffle up here and get started with your reading. Do keep in mind it's just a general reading, so sometimes these cards, they line out with us, sometimes they don't. Don't hate the reader. I try to give as many explanations of the cards that I can. Sometimes, like I said, they'll fit, sometimes they don't. Don't try to force it, just use your intuition. Okay, Libra, I wish for you love, hope, peace, serenity, partnership. I want the desires to be met. I want your money focus, everything to come into play for you, okay? All right. With that being said, here are the categories. We have your current energy. We have crossing challenge. We have the foundation. Hello, get out of my way here. We have recent past. Possibilities, lots of major arcana. All right, cool. We have the near future. All right, arcana again. We have the self. We got environment, hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, and the outcome and the direction. My goodness. Libra, this is going to be very interesting read. We've got, like I said, day-to-day grind comes out with the minor arcana. And when the universe is trying to tell you something, the major arcana comes into play, okay? It's going to be interesting, but here are your haiku poems before we get started. I'll be right back. Okay, Libra. This is going to apply to probably a specific situation, okay? But I feel like we are talking about a polyamorous relationship or a V triad, however you describe your circumstances here. Do keep in mind that this channel is all about love. So if you do comment, keep your comments beautiful. Okay, we have nothing but respect on this channel, and we're going to follow that guideline in this community as well. Okay, so all right, so we're going to talk about this, right? If this applies to you, keep it. If it doesn't apply, leave it for someone else. All right, we've got this Three of Swords energy. Okay, it's not what you're thinking. Okay, this is yep, yeah, that says it all. This part's tender, but you're safe. Okay, what I'm trying to say is this is the kind of like the emotional overlap, maybe that which was not really spoken out loud. Okay, so if we're talking about this poly dynamic, right? This Three of Swords kind of represents maybe someone afraid to express their jealousy here. Okay, someone may be feeling like, hey, I'm in the second place. I'm the third shoe. Even if they're not, right? But it could be like this kind of that grieving, maybe of the old dynamic as the new one is starting to expand. Okay, this is beautiful. It's got the ache of like, I said I was okay, but something inside me is still hurting, right? So it's very, very tender, and that's why I gave you the glitter here. Okay, take it with a grain of glitter, y'all. It's just, you see two partners connecting that are deep, right? And maybe there's somebody who's feeling a little invisible in this situation. So it's kind of like, you're the hinge, right? And you feel stretched thin, emotionally wise. So it could feel like someone's, feeling like they're being replaced when actually I feel like it's just kind of an overwhelmment situation, okay? So the partner in this situation, whomever that may be, might be feeling a little, replaced, when they're actually just seriously overwhelmed about things, right? So it's, withdrawing instead of communicating these feelings, okay? So I don't know, maybe you might be comparing yourself to the other person, right? I don't know, the other partner's looks or their body, or um, it's got that, I'm afraid to ask for reassurance here. And I feel like I'm losing my specialness. This is very emotional. This is a beautiful, emotional, very human-like behavior, and it doesn't matter whether it's polyamorous or throuple or anything like that. This is all relationships, especially, when jealousy situations come involved. So, maybe somebody's grieving the monogamy in the relationship. Some of you could have been married and invited that third party in, whatever. But it's still trying to embrace this, this polyamorous situation, okay? And so it's definitely all of the emotional reflections. This is not a threat at all, okay? All right, we're going to talk about this challenge card here, the Empress. This is receiving love from multiple directions. This is without guilt. This is without fear, In polyamory, the Empress becomes like, am I allowed to be loved this much? So think about that for just a second. Can I hold space for more than one person, without losing myself? These are the big questions. Do I deserve, this kind of level of affection? You know, is it okay that they love someone else too? So all the big questions. We know the Empress is all about love, maturity. It's that fertility. It's beauty. It's the design here. So you might be the partner that everyone kind of gravitates toward, right? Kind of the initiative of this, but and it may be afraid of being way too much emotionally here, but excuse me, it could also talk about, not being enough, and so it's got that comparison to the other partner perhaps. But, you know, the Empress learns how to receive without, overgiving. And I feel like someone sees you as maybe the emotional center of this, particular dynamic. So just kind of take what, resonates with you. But this could look like healing, your body image, you know, in that, like I said, if you were comparing yourself, it was triggered by the comparison, so this is definitely like stepping into sensual confidence here. It's learning to ask for what you need, and learning to let others kind of just really love you fully as to who you are. Some of you could be seeing synchronicities around this. If you are into spirit animals and things like that, the hummingbird lines up perfectly with the Empress, right? It's like small moments of sweetness here, right? It's safe to receive, okay? It doesn't have to be, but it could apply, all right? Now we're talking about the foundation card. It's very interesting. We've got 4 threes in this deck. Or in this spread, This is the polyamory card in this spread. It's the foundation. It's the, the friendship, the shared joy. For some of you, it's recognizing all of the compatibility, the dynamic where I feel like everybody genuinely likes everybody, right? And so this triad, or this, this V, this thruple, it formed really naturally here, okay? We didn't plan this, but it just feels right, okay? This could have happened from just a simple friend group, okay? And this could look like just that balance, everyone, enjoying each other's company. It's celebrating, the dynamic that helps you to become closer, okay? And so, it could have started with like a group chat or something like that, and that formed like that emotional hug, right? Some of you could have had like a hobby or an interest or something that could have deepened the bond, um, that third party, right? That it was welcomed into this situation, okay? Or it could have been like a past, third party situation that was healing. For some of you, just kind of take what resonates. But I feel like this, the polycule, it forms organically, right? So this collaboration is definitely bringing everyone together here. Okay. Some of you, I don't know, but you could be reverting back to the old school, right? Thinking of some songs here. It's got a little bit of heat in this, right? And I ain't afraid to share. That's what I'm saying. So just take a gander at that list. But I'm thinking somebody's, I don't know, definitely some kind of synchronicity here. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about this recent past. And here again, get that out of the way. Here we go. Got this page of swords. Okay. Someone was watching, analyzing, overthinking this dynamic. I feel like I feel like maybe somebody in this situation, one of them, was quietly kind of observing as the other two were bonding. You know what I mean? And it has that someone's kind of like, I don't know, maybe they stepped up, started to research, polyamory, started to just kind of take a look and study about, what I don't know, something like you were looking like on social media, to try to compare interactions with things. What are the attachment styles that are involved? This page of swords is, someone who typed out and deleted messages out of fear, right? Or it could have been like, someone feared being the odd one out here. Okay. But it's kind of like somebody's just definitely watching for the signs of favoritism. Someone's maybe tried to hide their insecurity. See, this dynamic is so beautiful. That's what I love about it. I appreciate it because, even in a monogamous relationship, these are hard emotions to try to navigate, let alone bringing in a third person, right? So to me, it's very mature. Okay. But I feel like, we talked about that hinge behaviorisms, right? So someone may have studied that, and I don't know. So they may have pulled back a little bit in fear of saying the wrong thing about it, or something. It doesn't have to apply, but I just feel like there's, I don't know, kind of an emotional static there for just a little bit. It doesn't mean it's forever. It just kind of felt like there may have been something in that energy. We're going to look at the possibilities. This high priestess, right? This is all about the intuitive intelligence, that it takes to be involved in a situation like this. This is sensing the emotional shifts, before they're said. This is that Three of Cups energy that I was telling you about. It's kind of like, when to step in, when to step back. And so, you know you could be definitely feeling like this soulmate connection, with more than one person. And it's the dynamic itself, the energy involved, the love. So it's intuitively understanding each partner's, kind of like their individual love language here, right? And so for some of you, you may definitely feel like this dynamic is evolving, which would cause maybe one person to move closer to the other. Hopefully it's all reciprocated here. We do have the Three of Cups, right? And that's talking about reciprocation. But I don't know. It could be in the possibility situation where this is evolving into this, right? So you're sensing that new partner entering into the picture. For some of you, it could have already happened. For some of you, this is what's happening. You know what I mean? So just trust your gut, about the timing, and the boundaries here. Okay. This is like crossing into a new emotional landscape. All right. We're going to talk about the near future. It's beautiful. These major arcanas are really, really telling such an amazing shift in circumstances. This is the official, it's stable and intentional. Okay. The world represents the change, the cyclical nature of things, right? So this triad, this thruple, however you determine what this is, that V dynamic, right? It becomes balanced, secure. I feel like everyone at this point, you're agreeing on your boundaries, you're talking, it's opening up, it's clarity, it's that new partner that's welcomed in. So that cycle of jealousy probably is, it's curving away. You're starting to understand everybody emotionally. So this dynamic is becoming, maybe more acknowledged, more public. This is the sharing of the home. This is the shared space as everything is discussed, right? That sense of, I don't know, we're doing this for real. This is emerging. Okay. For some of you, this is sunset time on the porch, on the beach, on the walks, whatever it is. It's that peaceful, not painful, so the endings here are definitely moving forward. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about this self now. A three again, you know what I mean? It's just back to back to back. I'm telling you, this is expanding emotionally and the relationship dynamic. Okay. This is deeper intimacy with the multiple partner. Okay, I'm talking about it's the deep dive into the more than just the physical. Okay, it's everybody coming together, dreaming bigger about the love, about the relationship. You know, the intimacy. You know, um, it's got adventure. You know, preparing for this new partner has. I don't know. It's kind of like stepping into that hinge energy, all of you, right? Learning to communicate all your needs clearly here. You know, this for some of you, it could be ready to take a trip. You know, travel long distance, make a move or something like that. For others, it's like, you know, it's I'm done shrinking. You know, I'm manifesting this abundance. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is alignment between, like, you know, where the destiny is taking you and the desire. Okay. And for some of you, this could very well come together within like 3 to 6 weeks, something like that. Just take what resonates with you. It doesn't have to apply to everybody, but the number 3 and the 6 here is standing out to me. Okay. All right. We're looking at the environment. We got this Page of Wands. This is the new energy that has entered. Okay. It's got that playful, curious, the flirtatious energy. This, like I said, this could be taking place right now, or for some of you, it could have already or is about to begin, right? But this is the new crush, you know, the new partner. It's the, you know, somebody flirts boldly in this dynamic, okay, which triggers a lot of this, you know, the spicy, the messages, you know, the compliments, I don't know, you just start to find that this energy is, you know, you're into that, I'm into that, you know, so the dynamic is really about curiosity and the expression of it, you know, the excitement, right? Somebody's bringing somebody back into the group. It could, you know, resonate for you like that. But I feel like your body's reacting before your mind understands, you know, and so it feels really fast. And I don't know. And to me, this is deja vu happening, you know, like in real time. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this: hopes, fears, wishes, and worries. So once again, it's got that lingering effect, you know. This is like the core fear, definitely in polyamorous relationships, you know, who's going to be left out, you know, who's gonna be the least loved, you know, or feeling like you're going to be replaced, right? Losing time or intimacy, something like that. But you know, nobody wants to be the secondary. But here's the kicker, right? It's all internal. It's the fear of not being chosen, right? Maybe that exclusion from decision making situations, or losing someone to another partner, you know, not being enough, abandoned emotionally, all of those situations here. But this is all leading up into this beautiful resonating timing here. Okay. And so these are natural. These feelings are so natural. It's even in monogamy. You can look it up. I'm telling you, I've been together for 26 years in my relationship, and what you're experiencing is no different than what, you know, than what I've experienced. It takes maturity. It takes that high priestess, empress type energy to work through any relationship. Okay, so you're not excluded or singled out in this situation. This is the outcome and the direction. This is amazing. You know, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is this dynamic that's stabilized. Your destinies are aligned up here. Okay, I'm just saying, this is definitely communication that's honest, it's safe. You know, this new partner fits perfectly. So it's the harmonious, it is the expression, you know, the balance, the major opportunities together. This dynamic is power couple. It's got, you know, all the energies. Can you imagine the expression of the energies that are taking place? So it's kind of like this shared future is going to become clear, you know. The dynamic is definitely beautiful here. Okay, it's meaningful, and so I feel like this is talking about, you know, the divine timing. It's finally visible here, you know, and more than likely it's going to happen. All this is going to happen, you know, when you're focused on something else entirely here, right? Look, this polyamorous dynamic here, it's not a mistake. It's like destiny level expansion, you know. In your emotional capacity, you know, we have that Three of Swords, right? It shows where all your fears living. But the Empress, you know, the High Priestess, um, it's where the love grows in this, right? It's confirming your intuition, and you're being guided. And the world is the World card showing you, you know, this dynamic becoming intentional, you know, stable and beautifully structured, like every every dynamic, you know, that you have, you know, that you've desired. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just you're trying to learn how to love without losing yourself here, you know, and how to receive the love without guilt. So these are all communication issues. It's trust issues, and this is telling me this dynamic is meant to grow, not collapse. You know what I mean? You know, three hearts, one destiny, healing, expansion, all of that is involved in this situation. So Libra, this is a beautiful reading, and I'm grateful to get to read something like this. I mean, I love to love. I'm a Pisces, you know, and I love to talk about love. And relationships is my most important category. I've learned a lot over the years, you know. I'm not trying to say I'm a Superman at all. I've made hella mistakes, but open relationships and polyamorous relationships and throuple, those however you describe it, to me, it really does. You have to let go of the need to claim. That is the biggest issue, you know. And I feel like if more marriages or if more unions could understand that dynamic, I think we'd have a little bit less of a divorce rate in this country. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. Like I said, keep your comments really, really secure, because we want to spread love and hope and peace and faith. Okay. Anyway, I love you, Libra. I hope whoever this was for, it was confirmation, clarity. Anyway, I hope I get to see you on the next readings. I'll leave videos for the last week's reading, and maybe some of those energies might line up as well. Okay. Anyway, I love you, respect you. Good luck. Okay. All right. Bye bye.